Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for My Hero Academia Chapter 250. So, we didn't really touch much on the backstory of what happened to Toya in this chapter, which kind of seems to be a recurring theme lately of Horikoshi like teasing us with something and saving it for later. But we did get something just as good, which is the introduction to a new villain who calls himself Ending, and Natsu being kidnapped, which just from reading this chapter, you can kind of immediately see what I love about this setup, because now Endeavor is being forced to confront his past both with Natsu and with Ending. And well, I'm not going to say Natsu and Endeavor are going to 100% bury the hatchet after this. I can safely say that this is one of those setups where basically by the end of this, we will see that we will see Natsu just pretty much finally take that first. We will see that first step that finally drags Natsu out of the pit of total contempt for his father, and at least willing to start moving forward like everyone else. And so yeah, it's probably gonna be like that, which again it would, in many respects it would make sense with someone like Natsu and how much contempt he has for Endeavor. It would make sense that the best thing in order to drag him out of that would basically be this whole would basically be this whole would basically be this a villain attack. So yeah, a life or death villain attack for sure. Um, also, while I'm on the subject of Ending, there are two things I have to note with him. First is that there are moments in the past of reading My Hero Academia where I joked about Horikoshi making a sort of mummy style villain, but holy crap, I didn't think he'd actually go through with it. But I guess it was inevitable. And stylistically, pretty much Ending's design is Ending has a very creative character design, but at the same time, you can also see that Horikoshi was taking a few cues from Stain with the design as well, because there's an aspect to his character design where you can see the influence of Stain in there on top of just being like this like psychotic mummy type of guy. Um, the other thing I want to talk about, and this is something I'd like your guys' opinion on, is that we can probably I want to say we can assume that with the introduction of Ending, he's basically more than likely been introduced as the main villain of this arc. So because of that, this chapter, like everything in this chapter, it definitely gave me the feeling that Horikoshi might be wrapping up this arc soon, and there might not be that like pretty much that many chapters left in order to go before we move on to the next arc. Especially considering that when you look at this arc as a whole, it was really more just a small condensed version of the internship arc. So yeah, it would make sense that Horikoshi, if he were to retread, he wouldn't want to do it for like an extended period of time, which I can appreciate with that. Um, but I honestly don't think we're gonna have. But yeah, I really don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of time left to go with this arc. Honestly, it feels like we're basically going to. It feels like after. It feels like after Ending is dealt with, then we're probably moving on. Unless like I don't know. That's the thing because like we basically have. I don't know. That's also the weird thing too, because that's the weird thing too, I guess, because even though even though Ending pretty much feels Endgame, there pretty much still feels like a couple. There still feels like all the stuff with basically Izuku and Bakugo and Todoroki's training that still needs to be dealt with. So unless that's taken unless this is going to be like the pretty much time in order for them to test out everything that they've learned with Endeavor here. But yeah, it's like I'm wondering. But yeah, I'm wondering if we're still going to get. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not 100% sure if we're going to get more after this or not. I'm assuming it is basically going to be this whole like it is gonna. I have a feeling this whole thing with Endeavor and ending is gonna basically evolve into like Izuku, Bakugo, and Todoroki eventually kind of like jumping in at some point, but and that's where we're gonna see like their progress unfold and whatnot. But yeah, I'll have to but yeah, for now it really feels like we're basically reaching the end for sure. Um, Now, one thing I will say about this chapter, and I doubt Horikoshi will listen to a 2-bit anime reviewer like me on this one, but the most jarring part of the chapter for me was seeing Endeavor make those whacked out, like basically happy faces, and like happy, cocky kind of faces. And yeah, I think this chapter firmly established for me that Endeavor should never be used as a comedic device unless it's for the comedic anger effect. Comedic happiness, though, yeah, just no. Horikoshi, don't ever do that ever again. Making if it pretty much make Endeavor is really only funny when he has those like those comedic angry faces and whatnot, but comedic happy, yeah, it just does not suit him. In fact, I almost it's far fetched to think, but I almost kind of wonder if Horikoshi did end up getting complaints like that, like that fans had wanted to see wanted to see like Endeavor smile or be happy or something like that with a happy face or something like that, and then Horikoshi decided to fight back and say, "Yeah, this is what Endeavor looks like happy. Did you are you sure that you still wanted to see him smile? Like it felt like that kind of a situation, but I don't know for sure. Um, and yeah, and with that said, let's talk about Ending's last bit of dialogue in the chapter, because on one hand, Ending definitely is psychotic, but with him saying, "Don't mess up on killing me this time, Endeavor," yeah, there are two things I want to see with something like this. First, and probably the most guaranteed, is we might actually see a moment in Endeavor's past where he actually came close to crossing that line and killing someone at that point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he had an encounter with if at some point he had an encounter with pretty much Ending at some point and said and was close to killing him, but pretty much pulled back at the last minute. Which, yeah, we've this is something I think we've kind of known about Endeavor for a long time. Is he's one of those characters where you can just tell that he has come close to pretty much crossing the line between hero and villain. That's like, so it would be interesting in order to see him like in a situation where he was close to crossing that line. Um, and and second second is that with Ending's declaration of wanting Endeavor to kill him, it definitely shows that this is going to be an ultimate turning point for Endeavor's character, and how like basically with a character like Ending. Ending is doing basically is he's forcing Endeavor in order to confront Ending is basically the perfect package almost of every single mistake that Endeavor has ever made as a hero. So now it's basically forcing him in order to confront every single one of those mistakes in one package. And again, with basically Natsu being held captive, everything he does is going to reflect back to Natsu. Even if Endeavor like pretty much ends up successfully killing him in order to save him, that's probably not good. Killing Ending in order to save Natsu, it's not going to go over well with Natsu probably. So yeah, this is going to be the ultimate test of character for. This is going to be the ultimate test of character for that will definitely for Endeavor for sure. And yeah, I'm interested to see where this will go. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Dead Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.